Okay, so today and this particular session we are going to do a joint rotation class to free the joints from stiffness. And the reason why we're going to do this for the first section of the class before we go on to a soft and soothe allow mindful meditation is to loosen the range of motion, increase mobility, which can reduce strain, and it's a good one to do because there's little chance of injury, and it's very good if you've got chronic pain. So in this particular time frame where we are at this present moment in the midst of all this, anxiety can feed tension into the body. With our stress response, the self-defensive one, it can make the rigidity of the muscles tighten around as a survival mechanism. So loosening the joints, creating space and soothing tight muscles, getting that rigidity out there is a really good way of reducing stress and feeling much more calmer. So it's really important we work on attention with body and the breath, that we try to tune into small refined movements by sensing inwards. That's very important, and using this kind of interoception that I've just mentioned, where when we're very stressed our brain doesn't know sometimes where our body is. It's a kind of a disassociative mechanism. It's like when you're very stressed, you might just feel right up in your head. And with anxiety does shunt all the energy up from the legs up into the upper body. So we need to work down and come into the body by practicing grounding. So we'll start first of all in a nice cross-legged seated position, if that feels comfortable for you, or you can lay on your back with your knees bent, feet wide and knees coming together. So we're just going to practice orientation, grounding and centering, which is really important. Knowing where you are in time and space. If you're stressed and anxious, underneath your awareness, your amygdala, your limbic system is constantly looking around for danger, and we can put ourselves in a safe mode by practicing orientation, grounding and centering. So just look around your area and your space if you can, and just notice any sensations in the jaw and the mouth and the neck and the shoulders as you find 5 things of interest. You could group together, and they could be, for example, colour. So I'm picking out a couple of items, some flowers, the colour of the shed, all seem to be quite similar colours. Think of 4 things that you can hear. So I can hear a dog barking, for example, children playing, I can hear the rustle of the trees, I can hear the birds. Notice 3 things you can touch, so hands on thighs, for example, feet on the floor, hips on the floor, and 2 things that you can smell. So at the present moment I can smell, for example, barbecue, and I can smell some flowers as well, and taste. So recently, I just had something to eat, so I can still feel the sensation in my mouth, or you can just focus on the sensation of the mouth. And really try to focus on these 5 things if you can all together. So for example, 5 colours, 5 sounds, 3 touch, 2 smell, 1 taste, and then just locate your awareness of the belly in terms of your breathing. So just check in with, notice how your breathing is today. Just notice if it's short and shallow when it's up into the chest. So if we can connect with our centre, which is our agency, our power, just imagine you've got a balloon just behind your belly button, and you're just expanding it with the in-breath, and you're just collapsing it with the out-breath. That's really important. And make that the background to your practice, in through the nose and out through the nose. If you want to, and the exhale, if you want to, almost like when you're stepping away from a difficult situation, just to let that tension go, that's nice. Okay, so we're going to start with this series, which is the joint rotation series. Really nice because the circling soothes and catches our attention, so it gets us out of our mind into our body is very, very mindful. So keep your attention on your body and your breath, and keep your intention on small refined movements, sensing inwards and your contact with the floor. So start in Dandasana, okay, with your feet flexed, toes up towards the ceiling. And that's just going to, if you need to, for example, roll up your mat or elevate your hips, because that keeps the spine long, pop that underneath. Just give me a little bit of lift, and I know that I won't be curving my spine forward. So this is a nice series to do, very relaxing. So we're just very, very simply just going to point and flex. So inhale, toes up, and exhale, point. And we're going to do each of these exercises 6 times. Keep that chest lifted and spine long, shoulders stacked over hips. And just really notice on the power in the legs and sensations in the muscles and refined movements. And then next one, so this is inhale, and then exhale as if you're trying to get your pinky toes together, like so. Okay, and then inhale, and then exhale. Inhale, exhale, inhale, and exhale. And just focus on different shiftings and movements going on in the hips. And different movements going on in the thighs, and different muscles activating. And then we're going to circle our feet, so try to keep the legs stable. So we're just going to be circling our feet, so right, inhale if you can. As you circle right, and as you're coming in towards the top, exhale as you come towards the left. So inhale out and exhale in. So you're drawing that circle with the foot, and do the opposite side as well. So as you inhale out and exhale as you come back in and up to the top. So out and down, and then in and up. And just focus on anything going on there. And then the next one, so we're just going to bend the knee like so, and then we're going to place our hands on the calves, and the inhale, so stretch, inhale, flex that foot, and then exhale, bring it in towards the thigh. And try to keep the foot flexed as we always do in yoga to protect the knee. Don't worry if you can't straighten that knee completely. Just move into the stretch and notice difference between tension and release. This is the body awareness thing. And then do the opposite side. So as we notice the difference between tension and release, that's important. Inhale up, exhale, bend. Because we're connecting, obviously, mind and body, dropping out the head. And like I said, circling and smooth movements catches our mind and our attention, so it's nice and mindful. And always try to settle into the weight in the legs. Keep resting into the breath, keep coming back to that as your focus. In the next one, we're going to take the legs wide. As wide as it feels comfortable. So we're just going to rotate, obviously. You can take it a lot wider than this, with your legs wide, whatever feels nice. Propping up the hips again. And then we're just simply, you're just rotating your foot out towards the right, okay? Turning it towards the right on the inhale, and then exhale, rotating it in towards the midline. So exhale, rotate the foot out, the whole leg, so you're moving into this hip joint. So you're going backwards and forwards. Remember, we're looking at range of motion, so don't worry, you're just moving into your range of motion, not into anybody else's or an unexpected range of motion, because we're listening into our bodies and doing what we can. And then the other leg, same again. Inhale as we rotate the leg out, and exhale as we rotate it in. Now I can feel a difference here, so I'm really listening to my body and feeling sensation in my left leg. I am really feeling a difference. Less range of motion in my left leg, that's okay. We have a difference between left and right side. There will always be a slight difference. obviously my right side's stronger than my left. So we're going to come into tabletop position. So I'm just going to move my mat around. So I'm just going to fold it. So I know I'm going to be on my knees as well. You can always pad your knees. So we're coming into tabletop position and we're going to do cat-cow. So inhale, head up, belly down, stacking your joints, really pressing into the hands, and exhale, rounding the back. Inhale up, exhale, round. So really push the ground away so you're not dumping into the shoulders. This is a nice movement here, nice and smooth and fluid. It's also good for the spine, good for the adrenal glands, just those little hats on top of your kidneys where the stress, cortisol and adrenaline is released from. So you're flowing in your own time and that feels good. So next we're going to so we're going to be moving into, okay, so inhale, we're going to straighten out that leg. Okay, so as you can see my hips rotating up towards you. So I'm going to drop it so my hips are level. Okay, and then on the exhale, I'm going to bring head to knee. Inhale, lift and lengthen, spine long, push the ground away. So really pull that core in. Really make sure that you've got a nice strong core. And just feel that sensations as you come into your balanced cat or tiger. Flowing with the breath, pushing the ground away, keeping that spine long, and then release and do the opposite side. Push that ground away, strong core. Inhale. You can point that leg, try to keep your hips square to the floor, and exhale, bring it in. Okay. Inhale. And exhale, round, bring it in. Inhale. Lovely. So we're going to come back into tabletop, but I'm going to come to this side so you can see me clearly. Bringing the knees together this time and taking the arms wider than shoulder distance apart. So I would say, don't get to pad your knees. So you can take your hands out quite wide. It's up to you, whatever feels comfortable. So you can take your hands out, for example, like that. Okay, and bring your knees together. Everything nicely stacked, and simply what we're doing is our knees are together and our arms are wide. Okay, and we're inhaling when they're in the center, and then exhaling. Okay, we are swaying our hips from side to side. So it's always inhale to center and exhale, sway. Squeezing the thighs together in the center pose. Moving with the breath, feeling the sensation. Push the ground away. Keep that core strong at all times. Making sure them ribs are tucked in nicely. Fantastic. Okay, so now we'll come into what's called hero pose. Now this can be very hard on the knees, so you can elevate yourself by sitting on 2 blocks underneath. If this is too much for you on your knees, find a different position seated that feels comfortable for you. Okay, because it is quite sharp, like so. So you might decide to cross your legs instead and elevate your hips slightly. If your knees are higher than your hips, then you've probably got slightly tight hamstrings and hips. You just want to elevate your hips slightly. So this is my favourite one. It's called Stop in the Name of Love. Strong core. So that's your stop and exhale. So inhale, exhale. So we're working into as many joints as we can. Circling the joints. It's like WD-40. Try to keep everything nicely stacked. And then we have our palms up thumbs out. Okay, so shoulder distance apart. Okay, so exhale, bring your pinkies to touch, and then inhale as wide as you can. So you, as almost as if you're, so inhale, so exhale here and inhale out. Exhale in, inhale out, exhale in, as if you're holding a tray. Keep moving with the breath. Nice long spine, chest lifted, so you're not collapsing. And then when you're ready, we'll do some fists. Okay, so you exhale as your fists go out and inhale as your fists come in. And just circle them, drawing big circles with your fists. And if you feel as though you want to shake your shoulders out, please do. You know, it's strong on the arms, isn't it? Holding it up a little bit. Okay, so then palms facing up, that's your inhale, and then exhale. Touch your shoulders with your fingers. Inhale and exhale. You really focus on sensing, tuning into small refined movement, tuning into sensation, tuning into what's happening with the floor. And then we come to this position, keeping our fingers on the shoulders, and then we're drawing big circles. Inhale up and exhale down. Just try to draw as big circles as you can, squeezing your shoulder blades back, and then try to get your elbows to touch. Big circles, elbows touching. And if you want to shrug it out, shrug it out. Okay, coming into, if you feel uncomfortable and you want to change your position, you might want to change how you sit. I'm going to do that now. Just going to give it a little bit of a stretch there. Okay, so cactus arms is your inhale with your elbows in line with your shoulders, and then exhale, rotating down. And then I'll need to go to the side for you to see this one. So you inhale and arms up, and then you take them back. So start at this position on the inhale, and then exhale, take them all the way back as far as they'll go. Chest lifted, squeeze the shoulder blades together. Inhale, exhale, inhale up, exhale. Spine long, tucking them lower ribs. Move at your own time. And then we'll do a seated version of cat-cow. So cross your legs, place your hands on your knees. So inhale as we extend and squeeze our shoulder blades together, push our chest through, and then exhale round the spine. Inhale up, exhale round, just undulate. Just focus on all that movement, the hips on the floor. Lovely. So the next one we're going to do, okay, is like a side bend. Keep your hips firmly glued on the floor. Again, if your knees are quite high because your hips are tight and your hamstrings are tight, elevate your hips with a pillow or a folded up blanket. So we're just going to go side bends from side to side, but keep your chest lifted and your spine long. So simple. You can use your arm if you want. If you keep this arm very active, you're working your quadratus lumbar. It gets a bit tight sometimes, doesn't it? But you can just go from side to side, but keep yourself in a diagonal so you're not rounding to the side. So exhale to the side, and then inhale, center, exhale to the side. Inhale, center, but making sure you glue both cheeks on the floor. So using as much range of motion as you can with your spine. This is always a really nice warm-up to do before you do your big yoga session, or just simply on its own, relaxing in the evening, or very good in the morning, just to get the whole cranky body moving. Just get it all nice and moving. So we're going to do some twists now. So inhale to lengthen before you exhale and twist. One hand, opposite hand to knee, the other hand behind you. Inhale to lengthen before you come back on the exhale. So it's always inhale, lengthen before you exhale, twist. Try to just move from above the waistline and keep that spine long. We always lengthen our spine before we twist because it's almost like screwing the cap down on a bottle, and we don't want to create any pressure in between the vertebrae. And then we'll do the neck. So lift the chin rather than drop the head back. So inhale, lift the chin, and exhale, chin to chest. Spine long, chest lifted, elevated hips if you need to keep that spine nice and straight. And then we're going to do side neck. So exhale, twist, and inhale to center. Keep the chin parallel to the floor and spine long. Really focus on what's happening, sensations in the neck and the muscles. Focusing on the body on the floor. And then ear to shoulder. Again, chin parallel to the floor, spine long. Exhale to drop, inhale to center. And just focus on sensation in the stretch. So very simple movements these are. Very, very simple indeed. Some of these can be done on the chair. But it's least likely to cause any strain, and like I said, it's a really good one if you've got chronic pain. Okay, so that is basically the full rotational system, okay, which is a very common yoga therapy practice that's used for both loosening up the joints and also to observe, to see where the person's range of motion is. And it's in a yoga therapy book called by Mukhananda Styles, and his wife is a wonderful Ayurveda specialist. She's Dutch. Fantastic. Now, so what we're going to do then is we're going to do our guided meditation. This is a mindfulness practice, and coming with a caveat, obviously, because this one's called Soften, Soothe and Allow. We will be working with mild to moderate issues that you may be having to deal with at the moment, and I think this is a good practice to have, particularly as we're moving out of social distancing and we may feel a little bit more anxious about how we can go out into the world. I'm finding it quite a challenge. It's almost akin to the fact that I have some kind of Stockholm syndrome, where I feel safe and secure being here inside the environment of my house. But going out, perhaps doing key worker shifts, going to the supermarket, things like that can be quite anxiety inducing. There's nothing wrong with being anxious. It's a totally normal reaction to do with the virus, and you are allowed to feel whatever you feel. So this practice is useful for just that. So pick your position that you'd like to be in. If you want to lay on your back with your knees supported, wearing an eye mask, or you want to practice the traditional mindfulness position, legs crossed, you can sit on a meditation cushion, spine long, chin, and I always like to practice to find out where my arms go. I let my arms drop, and without moving my shoulders, bend at the elbow, and I know where to place my hands. Eyes closed or a soft gaze. So just spend some time getting yourself into position for this practice, and I will guide you through it. So all you need to do is listen to the sound of my voice, if that's okay. And I will guide you through it. And don't worry about the sounds in this video. Use the sounds as part of your practice. The sounds can be used because at any point, if you find a challenge in this practice, you can redirect your attention to one of the 5 senses, which is a good one to do, okay? Or you can focus on your breath. You can focus on the floor, your hands. These are the places that will help you to feel safe and secure, just to redirect your attention away from anything that you might be challenging you at this present moment, if that makes sense. So what we're going to do is, this practice, soft, soothe and allow, is to help you to cultivate a friendly relationship with distress, so we can tolerate them within our mind and our body. And psychologically, and when we look at the psychological and biological aspects of this, we're working with what's called a window of tolerance. So if you're above the line and you're in hyper, you're anxious, body anxious, mind, or both. If you're hyper, you're dropping into freeze flop, where you feel immobilized, and that what happens where fear takes hold. So we're getting you within that window of tolerance, in the middle of those 2 states, so you're neither hyper or hypo. But because mindfulness comes from the Buddhist tradition, distress is part of life, and there's no way that we can get rid of it. However, we can learn to cultivate being in a certain position where it's how we respond to that distress, and we talk about the quicksand metaphor in mindfulness. It's not the distress or the anxiety itself that causes the problem, but it's our struggle with it. So the objective of this meditation is to not get rid of it, and it is to sit with the discomfort of it and to allow it, to feel so that we can heal. And so also we do not discharge that stress onto someone else, or alternatively, where we numb or distract ourselves with alcohol, or constantly scrolling through Facebook, any kind of distractive strategies, compulsive behaviour that can be harmfully addictive. So I'm going to ask you to work with whatever is present for you in this moment that's causing you the most distress. It could be some discomfort, some unease, something you can recall, but nothing which is too overwhelming or disabling. in the sense that you're going into the realm of PTSD and trigger. Also, nothing that's too minor as well. Whatever it is, because there is a connection between emotions and the body, we're working with where that is stored in the physical body. So something that brings to mind a physical sensation in the body whilst totally respecting your limits, if that makes sense. So let's begin. Let's come into a cross-legged position that's comfortable, just with dignity and ease, or laid on your back. And just take in 3 deep calming breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. And with the inhale, feel that in, upward, energetic move as if it's coming through the spine. And with the exhale, you're arriving down into your seat, you're resting, you're settling, you're feeling whatever is underneath you, what's holding in and supporting you. And you're softening in through shoulders and jaw. It may be just a nice opportunity now to just notice sounds and just allow them to drift in and out of your conscious awareness without attaching to them. Remember, we're focusing on present moment attention and impermanence. So we're not creating a narrative around things or judging. We've just got a curious awareness. So with each exhale, settle into your body. Let your conscious awareness flood all the way down into your body. Just notice how it feels. What sensations can you feel? Just notice. Perhaps it's a strong sensation in your seat. Just notice. Allow the attention to travel all the way down into the feet as well. And you may feel the contact with your body and the earth. And just notice where your hands have landed. What sensations do you feel in your hands? And then move your attention now to the sensations of the breathing. If it feels possible for you and you would like to, you could place a hand on the belly or a hand on the chest or both. Just to really feel the movement of the body with each exhale and each inhale. Expanding with the in-breath. Contracting with the out-breath. And for a few moments, just notice. Notice how the body feels nourished and refreshed on the in-breath. And how it releases and lets go with the out-breath. And just feel that gentle rocking motion with the breathing motion. Flowing in and flowing out like waves, waves in the ocean. And just knowing this breathing, this flowing out like waves in the sea. And if you want to use touch, you can use comforting touch at any time to be a refuge if this practice becomes too much. Wherever you want to place your hands. If it becomes too much, come back to the home base of your breath. sensing the breath, sensing compassionate warm touch of the hands where you need to place them, perhaps in the sensation you're working with. Feel the ground beneath your body and your hands. And if needs be, you can always label or name in a compassionate voice, as if a friend was just calling out whatever emotion that you're going to be working with today or sensation, and say, this is, and name it. So be aware of the physical sensations. We can keep our hands here for the practice. And if you feel ready, just bring to mind a moderately difficult situation you find yourself in. You can picture it with all 5 senses, like a film. It could be anxiety about the current crisis we are all living with. It could be about the coming changes from the easing of lockdown and how it affects us personally and the country as a whole. It could be a health problem or a worry for a loved one. It could be something you're experiencing, some suffering or some grief. Not too difficult and not too trivial. See where it is, what it looks like, and what emotions arise in you as you visualize the situation. Can you locate it, that strong emotion? Can you locate it, label and name it? Locate it, label and name it in your body. And repeat and name it to yourself in a gentle, understanding voice. And as you do this, with an expanding awareness of the whole body, and try to notice where it's most strongly felt, this emotion. Where do you detect it? Where does it feel most uncomfortable? Maybe it's expressed as muscle tension, heartache or constriction, a caving in or a numbness, even a hollow feeling. Where do you feel it for you? See if you can gently lean or incline towards the physical sensation, like a small child who's hurting, bringing gentle and kind awareness to these sensations. Softening towards this part of the body the best that we can. To relax the tight gripping, the resistance around this emotion. See if you can ease into it, relax into it. Almost as if you imagine that you're slipping into a warm bath. Allow the muscles around it to ease the best we can. Gently aiding the letting go of the out breath. But we're not trying to change anything. We're not trying to want to make it different. We're going to hold it tenderly in awareness in our mind, like a small child or a baby. Lovingly. Softening around the edges, the physical sensations. Allow the softness to spread out a bit into the body. And also offer yourself any soothing that you need in this difficult situation. If it's difficult and tense, see if you can feel maybe placing gentle warmth and kindness radiating from the touch of the hand wherever you feel it. Use comforting words. You may want to stroke your arms, tenderly place your hands over your chest, around your tummy, wherever you feel it. What comforting words do you think you would like to hear, or the area where you feel it? What do you think a good friend would say in this situation? Can you say to it, I care about you? Or to yourself, oh, I'm so sorry you feel this way. Or I can see you are hurting. Whatever feels right to you, offer yourself your own comforting words. And whenever your mind wanders, just simply come back as soon as you notice to soothing words, soothing touch. If it feels right, rightly allow that discomfort to be there just as it is. Make space for it. Letting go of the need to want to make it go away. Releasing the struggle. Knowing that you are okay to feel this way, to allow yourself to feel whatever you feel. Be just as you are. It's okay. Just like me, people are feeling this way too. There is universality in all struggles. You are not alone. And just to track the changes, if there are any, let's take a few moments to go through the cycle. Soften towards the physical sensation or emotion. Offer soothing touch and or words. And finally, allow the sensations and emotions to be just as they are. Soften, soothe, allow. And now, just let go of this exercise when you're ready and allow yourself to rest, to just be as you are. dedicating this practice to yourself and your own well-being, as well as the well-being of others everywhere, knowing that this may be of benefit. And start to tune into your surroundings and the contact with your body and the floor, to sounds, to smells, sensations of the mouth, and awareness of the eyes. And when you're ready, open your eyes and stretch if you feel like you need to. And remember that you can come back to this practice at any time. Namaste.